This is about nomads and something I talk about pretty often in the past, I think year especially. I just try to tell the kids that post here that hitting the road ain't gonna make their life any better. Every kid I've known that's young and has crappy parents or is trans, so same thing, that decided to hit the road just ended up in Google, whatever that means, that won't work with a nasty drug problem or worse. Maybe I'm sympathetic. Same thing happened to me. But it gets tiring seeing all the kids that want to throw their life away without realizing it. And all those folks asking permission to leave probably aren't cut out for it anyways. All that being said, sounds like you need a morning cup of coffee. Happy travels. Living outside isn't even the issue. It's really the reason people end up in the situation in the first place, and like all the trauma stuff, as I always say. And the fact that they'll probably never really end up with like an actual support system and safe people to be around in a real family. And like, I mean, in the West Coast scene, the whole street kid thing, being dragged in by street parents that are hardcore drug users, nothing's new about that. Being dragged in by chomos, whether you're like still living with your abusive relatives or not, of course that's not a new story. That's like just everywhere. Being kicked out, having to run away, whatever happening with the cash for kids system to where you get dumped out or you aged out, or you're just, maybe you haven't aged out yet, but like there's just nowhere else for you to go, so you're just like out there on the streets. Like something I've noticed a lot when in Oregon is well, even in Cali actually, cause like America doesn't have youth programs really or youth shelters, but the little ones that do exist are on the West Coast, but they're really created for foster kids because they're always homeless and living on the streets or in the woods or couch surfing or whatever. So I've seen a lot of situations, even with people who aren't 18 yet, who are like having to get, what's it called, screened through youth resources because they have nowhere else to go. And Oregon has a couple of youth shelters. And so I've seen situations of like people who are about to age out, have just aged out, or haven't aged out yet, being pushed through the youth homelessness industrial complex. Like I remember when visiting Oregon, I eventually felt comfortable enough to walk around, which honestly, I mean, nothing, I would definitely say that I've had like no crazy like encounters in Oregon. Like honestly, I don't even think I've had any encounters with the police. I mean, of course, always Abbott and Allied Universal and other security companies, but not actual police. But anyways, to get back to the point before I like run off somewhere else. I met this girl who had just got kicked out like 5 days before we met. I met her in a McDonald's and I guess maybe the McDonald's manager knew that the youth shelter was nearby, so he would like treat pretty much most of the younger people and of course the obvious homeless people like crap. Cause like in places like this, people are gonna automatically assume you're homeless based off of certain commonly discriminatory things. It's not even about like looking dirty or any of that. It's just like other stuff. But I mean, to be truthfully honest though, like someone told me back in Cali, being homeless isn't about whether you actually have a place to stay or not. It's not about if you have an apartment. It's not about any of that stuff. It's not about looking dirty or the stereotypical drug bullcrap that comes from really the mostly white areas with drug issues. It's about a homeless energy. Homeless energy doesn't have anything to do with where you live. It's about people being able to tell that you've been through some bull crap and nobody gives a crap about you. That's pretty much the summary. Like, I would honestly say being homeless, quote unquote, is more about people being able to pick up orphan energy off of you more than anything else. People being able to know that, like, they could do whatever they want to you, and there's nobody to come looking for you, and nobody to even know that you're gone. But this kind of depends, though. I mean, definitely most people talk to people, but I don't. So that's kind of the difference. But I mean, sure, like the other people, like the other homeless people or whatever would know that like you're missing, and they'll be like, well, what happened to this person? But I mean, it's not anybody with power, like some type of money, or that's seen as like a functional member of society. So it's not somebody that'll be able to like really get something done about figuring out what happened to you. Because I mean, a lot of homeless people go missing, and like, I mean, people in the homeless community worry about them and like look for them, but there's nobody that can really like get something done about it. And it's mostly the cops doing stuff. And of course, if you're a street kid, then like the cops are everybody's main risk, really. But more so if you're a street kid. But yeah, so like, point is, this girl had only just got kicked out, and like she's already being seen as a bum and all types of stuff, and being treated like crap. Even makes me think about something that I seen somebody say. It was supposed to be like advice for runaways, and they were like, don't trust homeless people. And it's like, I mean, you can't trust too much of anybody, really, but the thing is, once you run away or get kicked out, you're a homeless person too. So you're the same homeless person that somebody else is telling someone else not to trust. I think like a lot of people don't understand that, especially once you're not couch surfing anymore and you're not hidden homeless, once you're actually staying outside, especially if you're like staying outside in the city, you're not like hidden camping in like, I don't know, your car, like the woods, and people actually know that you're homeless, you're the same bum that people talk about. But I'm trying to really get to the point though, because I don't know if this is like really coming together how I want it to. But I'm really just trying to make the point that, I mean, when you don't have any support system, there's really only so much you can do. And I know there's the people that'll tell that pull yourself up by your bootstraps narrative, and they'll be like, nobody cared about me, and I was still able to become like a millionaire, to become quote unquote successful, which is really just still being traumatized and depressed, but now you have a car and an apartment and a job, so now you're successful, quote unquote. But like, everybody can't do that, and some people have went through just way worse things to where that's harder to do. And I know people are gonna be like, they're just trying to be a victim, like that cop in New York who wanted to make up excuses for why he helps traffic kids, and why the kids he helps traffic need to just pull themselves up by their bootstraps and not be a victim and get a job because they can do anything they want to do, quote unquote. And like, I don't even know what I was about to say, but I'm trying to figure out how else I can summarize it. It's like, I don't know, just the mainstream Matrix stuff, it really just doesn't work for everybody. And I've been thinking about like making a video about how, due to the fact that America/Babylon is going into the beast system, and they're passing all these like laws that are going to be anti a lot of people, because that's how NAZIS works. And it's like, it's so funny though, I gotta go off on a side rant, that like a lot of Caucasian people have been made to think that they just need to keep pushing this narrative that none of that stuff is real, or none of it's real anymore. And it's weird that they think it doesn't matter, because it's gonna affect them too, because I mean, literally, the main narrative that you're pushed about the NAZISs is that they only killed other Caucasian Europeans. That's literally the storyline that you've been fed in fake history classes. So it's very interesting that, like, I don't know, people just, nothing matters until it's happening to them. That's a little side rant, but the thing I was going to say though is that I even remember when like some UK homeless sub person had said that a lot of homeless people are unknowingly quote unquote autistic, because I don't like these labels, but they said that, and it's like, I could really see that narrative being pushed and used as an excuse to take out quote-unquote autistic people, which of course is really going to lead to just continuing to take out anointed and prophetic people, and eventually the 144,000, which is true Yasharel, not these other weird narratives that white Christians have pushed about what the 144,000 is. But I mean, of course they're gonna be doing DNA testing and stuff to look for the true Yasharel soldiers anyways, but I can see that narrative being used for so many not good things. And I've been thinking about that since then. And I've been just thinking they could really just say, if we want to get rid of the homeless issue, we have to take out all the quote-unquote autistic people. And the thing is, all these labels are bullcrap. There's no real test for any of them. So when they say things like this, it can mean anybody, but a lot of people, they don't think it affects them because they'll just be like, well, I'm not bad, crazy, or retarded, so it's not going to affect me. But the thing is, the beast system is going to affect everybody. I mean, if you're not, honestly, something that I say pretty often in my head at least, which is very true, if you're not a chomo, you're not going to have any rights. If you want to have rights, you got to become a chomo. That's point blank period. Or just become a sodomizer, but I mean, even still, then they'll take you out if they really want to. But there's also the fact that, what somebody considers throwing their life away may not mean the same thing for another person. But if you can't handle being alone and you're just gonna end up running around with pedophiles and doing drugs, you might as well just try to get a job. Not that that's easier said than done though, because there's also the fact that people are fed this narrative that things are gonna change once you get a certain age, but honestly that's not even true. It's really not, and you're still gonna go through so much ageism and discrimination, especially depending on who you are and what your situation is and different things that, I mean, if you can't figure out how to figure something out yourself and do something yourself to make money, something entrepreneurial, you may just be stuck. But yeah, all that stuff is still easier said than done though. I skipped out on home and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I was almost dead. Now I'm on track to going back to college and getting an engineering degree on a scholarship. Being away from that hellhole, squatting, working, seasonal, wandering. I lived in hell my entire life, but on the road the fire subsided and I was able to feel myself for the first time. And that's definitely how it is, but I mean, I don't know, it all really depends. It's also risky and wishy-washy. You don't really know if you're going to make it or not. If you really want to make it, you got to ignore people's bullcrap. Because I'm not going to lie, I get a lot of insults, but I'll definitely say most of my insults are from pedophiles. But, edit, grab your papers before you leave. That's something that a lot of people aren't able to do. I remember meeting this dude who was in his mid-20s or maybe early 20s. And he was fighting his mom over his vital records. And I'm not going to lie though, going through wars over getting an ID, especially before leaving, that can mess a lot of stuff up because, if you can't get your vital records, that's another thing that'll really have you stuck. Seasonal, squats, and couch surfing. That's the meta. Those provide stability. Stick to rich areas with really nice food banks and free bus passes. Bust some cash for supplies and Greyhound tickets. Continuously apply for seasonal positions at local libraries. Well, a lot of this stuff depends on age, and I feel like I've said before, I don't even know if this video is actually public or not, but I've still mentioned it a couple times. Anytime someone says that they won't hire you because you're not old enough, they really just don't want to hire you, but they don't want to tell you the real reason. And it's you're fed these certain narratives, but everything really does depend. You could be 18 and somebody will tell you, I won't hire you because you're not old enough, but then they'll hire a 14-year-old who has a family in the house. Or they just have parents that took them to the interview or whatever. And so then the boss knows They have reliable transportation. They're not in some screwed up situation. They're not possibly messed up in the head. Stuff like that. Which, I mean, it's still a lot of assumptions. It even makes me think about something that I heard a lady say once in a video where she talked about getting through homelessness. And she said that one of the first steps is don't let anybody know that you're homeless. She said that people would like see her around, but before it got dark, she would disappear and go get in her car and drive off somewhere really far to go to sleep. So nobody really knew that she was actually out there. But the thing is, not everybody really has that, like, opportunity. I don't know if that's even the word for it, but not everybody can do that. And that's one of the things, like, I would say especially when it comes to being a street kid or a foster kid. Like, more so in areas where they're used to street kids. In places where they're not used to street kids, people are either going to assume that maybe your whole family is homeless and it's not just you. Or they'll assume that maybe you're just really poor, and that's why you like are never able to wash your clothes or whatever. You don't have a lot of clothes. Or they'll just assume that you're way older than you actually are, and you just like look younger. Like, I remember in the South, I had some lady, like, people just assume that I'm in my like late 20s, but I don't know how. But I mean, I would hope that like by then my health will be better, but. Like, this lady had said, pray that God will send you some kids, and it's like, first of all, and it's so weird, though, because, like, do I even look like I could really even carry kids? And I doubt that I could even have kids right now. But it's like, why even go there, though? Like, especially with all her assumptions about who I am in my situation, why would I want more kids in this? But anyways, to finish up 2 sentences ago, when you're in places that are more used to street kids, people already know what to look for. And people already are gonna they're gonna have their little assumptions when they see somebody who's younger. Even like, just like homeless youth, which typically is like 18 to 24, 20 something. If they always see you by yourself, especially if you're like a teen or younger than that, they're gonna know that you're definitely like a street kid. And that's hard to hide. Like, for one, you can't get any services, especially like if you're anywhere but the West Coast. You can't, well, I mean, if you're under 16, you can't anywhere. But I would really say you're going to have to lie and say you're 18 regardless, because it's going to be risky. Unless you're in foster care, then that's whatever. So, like, I mean, kind of like this one dude said in a screenshot that's in some video, don't remember which one. He was homeless at 14 in Arizona, and there is no help at that age. He had to eat out of dumpsters, which is really common. And that's common if you're in places with, like, no homeless services anyways, but you're not going to be able to just hide that really easily. And, yeah, that's why I say everything really depends. Just like, Americans and their ideas on age gap dating, especially for like younger people. It's like, not even just younger people, it's like, I don't know, 14 to 16 is horrible to Americans, but 16 and 35 is okay, 18 and 9,000 is okay, 20 and 38 is okay, 30 and 75 is okay, but then it's like, people can say that I'm rationalizing, but I mean, I don't date people anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, this is all absurd. If you can break into a seasonal career, you can really put your life back together. That's another thing, too. A lot of people have this get your life back together, get your SHIT together, which I've been getting told that literally my entire life. Not even really sure what that even means, to be honest. But it's like, how can you really get your life back together when it was never together and you never had a life in the first place? Like, most people being out here is their first breath of fresh air in their life. Like, I don't even have anything else to compare anything to. I don't think I really said that right, but hopefully it made sense. And as I always say, I've always liked outside, so I'm not just one of the people that like ended up out here and then I was like, well, okay, now I just have to accept this. It's not even like that. I'm not accepting something because I feel like that's all there is. Save up money, don't drink alone. That's another thing though. And the thing about the drug stuff, aside from the racial side, it just being easily available in certain places, it's also like the moral side and people, especially Caucasian Europeans, they don't really like believe in like spiritual stuff, so they don't really have like a lot of faith or hope in anything. So like to them, faith, hope, all that stuff is like schizophrenia for melanated people. But the I don't know, just the stuff that definitely can be considered throwing your life away, to them it's just being a hippie, which is weird because that's even spiritual. But people, I don't know, the atheist term is so weird, but it's just like life and just whatever because they don't really believe in anything. But it's just still so depressing. I get that it's a coping mechanism, but I mean, if they don't think it's wrong and that they don't believe that they're like destroying their body and their health and their life, then I mean, there's also that side to it. Although, I mean, alcohol it's not a bad thing, but I don't know. I wouldn't trust anything made by anybody else, but it's not good for anybody in these types of situations. And really the whole making alcohol a bad thing and like making it to where you have to be 21, 30, 3,000 to drink alcohol, that's just an American flipped around religious doctrine thing, which I mean, it's really just like the whole making prostitution illegal. I mean, even with like child prostitution, quote unquote, it's not illegal to help anybody. It's illegal because the government isn't making money from it and they feel like it's just a way for you to easily launder and not pay taxes. That's all that's about. Just like the whole moonshine situation. In fact, Pastor Omar talked about something similar like a couple months ago or whatever. If I can find the video, I'll put it in the description. But yeah, America literally has like the highest drinking age and it's like really crazy. In other places you can get alcohol at 16 and stuff, but it's like, and that's another thing with the minor stuff. It's like youth can do everything but not get sexually assaulted or just and really taken through any type of abuse. And like people say that I've been called a pedophile apologeticist or whatever in the world a lot of times. Even like I think back when I was probably still like, I don't know, maybe 10, I was called something like that. But it's like, to be truthfully honest though, the people that are always running around talking about who's a minor and who's not, I mean, they're chomos too. Because I mean, literally the minor laws and age of consent laws are for the abusers to profit off of. It doesn't benefit anybody else, like I mentioned before. And of course the video that was very definitely got crickets, but I mean, like I always say, the age of consent laws are put in place so that way they can actually charge and jail youth for dating each other. But the thing is though, when it comes to pedophilic relationships, lawyers always say there are no laws against who you can date. So it's like, but then when younger people date each other, then it's a bad thing. Or then the younger people are pedophiles because age gaps are bad when you're younger. And just like I always say, the people who are like that and say things like that, they're always the people that have this mindset that as long as they date older people, then they're not the victimizer, so then it's good. And that's why they continuously throw themselves into victimizing situations and they're always getting hurt and bullcrap is always happening. Although, to be truthfully honest, even if they date somebody their age, the same thing would happen because they're too desperate. But just enjoy life and find yourself. If you want extra security, try landing a seasonal position before you leave so you immediately have a place to go. I'm not gonna lie though, this makes me wonder how old they were when they left, because this does not apply to most people starting off in these types of situations. I would like an explanation of what throwing your life away means. F your idea of a life, to be honest. Being homeless has always been better for me than being housed up. People are allowed to view existence differently than you. And that's another thing too. I've mentioned this before, especially on the evidence channels, not really as far as like the whole homelessness thing, but in other ways. So, the bad black boy with ADHD label, the bad boy with ADHD label, the bad kid with ODD label, even the autism label in melanated people can all just mean sociopath, which of course, autism used to mean the same thing as sociopath and schizophrenic anyways, and like, depending on your situation, it still does. And I've already mentioned how like it's already been said that a lot of homeless people are unknowingly autistic, quote unquote, and definitely a lot of people who are anointed or prophetic end up homeless. So, there's the news, which has actually been getting spread for like the past couple years, but people are now talking about it, that they're going to start like throwing homeless people into asylums, which really that means they're going to start killing people, which they've already been doing, but they're going to start doing it openly. But like they're saying that homeless people are mentally ill, which honestly the idea that being poor, quote unquote poor, is a mental illness isn't new. There's a lot of people that say this, a lot of people that like to preach also say stuff like this, but I'm not going to go into that. But also, it's a deeper side to it. People think they mean, oh, they're schizophrenic, whatever that really means, or oh, they have Down syndrome or whatever. But actually, no. They're saying that it's fundamentally sociopathy or antisocial personality disorder because a lot of people did realize the bullcrap of society younger. They just weren't able to fit into society and climb back into the matrix. So they got stuck. And not wanting to be a part of the matrix is actually what being a sociopath means. People think it means, oh, this person hurts people and they don't have empathy or anything. No, actually, by the psychiatric definition, that's not what it means really, because psychiatry is made by serial killer child molesters. So obviously they didn't have empathy. Like, I mean, somebody who sees the issues in the world and wants justice or wants to help people, that's even considered sociopathy, really. So it doesn't mean what people like have been made to think it means, because like when you hear made up terms like sociopath and psychopath, which aren't even real labels, you're made to think that it's about like these serial killer people that are actually Manchurian candidates that are taking out ritual sacrifices, like Jeffrey Dahmer, people that are made by the U.S. government, not even like real people to be honest, just programmed multiple people. That's what you're made to think that these terms mean, but really it's not. And it's so funny because the people who make up these terms are worse than those people. But no, that's not what it means. The saying is that psychopaths are born, sociopaths are made. All that stuff is bullcrap if you ask me, but what was I going to say? Yeah, sociopath or antisocial personality disorder, it's really just about not doing what everybody wants you to do. Doesn't mean you're doing anything bad. Doesn't even mean you're doing anything morally bad, which actually psychiatrists don't even believe in morals. They believe that morals is a religious thing for schizophrenic melanated people who believe in stupid spiritual stuff. So they don't actually believe in good or evil. They don't believe in good or bad. They just believe in children and doing whatever they can to them. There's also another saying, which is that sociopaths from poor families end up in prison. Sociopaths from rich families become doctors and lawyers and judges. But to be truthfully honest, though, with the fact that white supremacy is a Jezebel spirit and the same spirit in a schizonarch, and in like the stereotypical of what people think a sociopath is, it's actually really funny how like they're the people that even make the labels, to be honest. And they're the people that, like, I mean, it's literally just like child molesting serial killers are the people that decide who's a quote-unquote sociopath or psychopath and who's not. I mean, the thing is, like, the Caucasian race is literally used to judge all people. Like, they're the people that are sent to sexually assault and torture and take everybody through trauma-based mind control when they go into idol worship. Especially the serpent seed olive branch, because of course they own everything. And they created, like, most of the bad things. They brought out like the fallen angel technology, all that stuff. So, but still, it's just funny though. Like, there are people that make the decisions, but yeah, they're definitely always everybody's judgment. Shout out to all the dirties, meaning dirty kids, defending the GNC folk. Love y'all. I don't know what a GNC is. I can throw in though that I've been lucky enough, especially since leaving, to never feel hopeless. And throughout my life, I've never seen myself as poor or broke. People have always tried to like throw it up in my face, but I've never really seen that or cared about that. And like some people, I don't know. I had this one lady. She was always acting like I was like 3 years old or something, and she'd be like, "I just don't see it yet because I'm still a child. Like I'm like 5, and that I just don't like see how bad things are, and that I just don't know because I've always been poor." But it's like, I mean, what in the world? But like, I don't know. And then I think like people that are like me, these are the types of people who say you're careless and don't want a better situation for themselves. But it's like, I don't know though. It's also annoying because people always have some bullcrap to talk, but nobody actually ever cares. It's like when you're in the abuse situation, people have bullcrap to talk. When you leave, people have bullcrap to talk, but nobody actually ever cares. And it's really just annoying, to be honest. Like people, I don't know. There's always like some demonic 2 cents. But yeah, some people just, they don't really see anything and they don't have like any hope or faith in Jack. And I mean, I could definitely say though that like I've definitely always been into like trying to figure out Yahweh's purpose for my life, and so there's that. But aside from that, I don't really get like sad easily, so there's that too. And it's like knowing that I have something to look forward to. But I mean, not that it's gonna be easy to get to. I definitely gotta like figure some stuff out. But people that don't believe in any of that and they just think that people are just like monkeys, or that certain people are just monkeys, and that like we're just here to beat each other up and then die. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to be on drugs, of course, or they're going to be, it's just not going to go well. I agree with you. Well, no, because another thing I could also say is that Europeans, especially ones with money, but just, I don't know, like Caucasian people in general, they're also the ones that commonly push the narrative that spirituality, God, different things like that are just for like schizophrenic, melanated, poor people who just want something to make themselves feel better. But I mean, there's a lot of pride in that too, though, because like just thinking that like people just came out of nowhere, that people just came from like dirt and feces or whatever out the ocean or out the ground. I mean, that's just pride in general, but I don't know. So many things are based off of like the pride and flip down narratives of the serpent seed. It's actually crazy. Like literally the world runs off of that. But of course, there's the reptilians at the top that push these narratives as well. So I saw this at World Market when I was in I think Louisiana. And then there's this, which of course people end up out here due to trauma. I'm not going to go much into this because I already have like the whole video, or maybe a couple of videos about missing runaway kid exploiters and how missing persons reports are just smear campaigning commonly done by people who are weird, pedophilic, sadistic, abusive people themselves, and they just want to like help abusers find their kids. Some even get paid by the abusers to make the videos, and of course they're also making videos in hopes of getting monetized and seeming like a good person. But anyways, this was a comment under a post about some missing kid, and of course people were trying to bash him. He was 11 or 10 and somehow was able to like steal his dad's truck and go camp in the woods, and the campsite was found, but he was never found, but he stole his dad's phone too for a little while. A weird sounding situation, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie though, this makes me think about Craig of the Creek, but I don't know. My Craig of the Creek situations weren't really that good because it was just me by myself at the creek. But anywho, I left at 14. Don't care to explain why, but 3 years lived in a tree. For me and my buddies built by the creek. I hunted squirrels and rabbits, caught fish. One day, walking to the store, dude asked if I had a job. Said, nah, I'm homeless, left home at 14. In the woods down by the creek. He said, hop in, I need help today doing this AC install. I was 17, now 30. Owned my own HVAC company. Manuel and his family will always be taken care of just because that one day at 17, that man saved my life. And another thing though is that also they got lucky because especially these days, like you may get told, well, you're not old enough and I don't want to have to like be at risk because I can't put you on the company's insurance and your parents might get mad. I might get accused of something. You're uneducated. What else was it? Just different things because everything really depends. Like another common accusation, you may be mentally ill because you've already been out here for years, and of course the homeless person or homeless kid is going to be mentally ill. Maybe you're hiding from the cops. Maybe you killed somebody. Maybe you'll kill me. Maybe you're a prostitute. So yeah, everything really depends. But yeah, though, I don't remember what the post was, but I remember somebody said something about him wanting to see his mom or something. So it sounded like the common situation of a fake missing persons report, where someone goes missing for years or quote unquote missing, but they just went to live with another relative or another relative took them. So yeah, that's really common. Like whenever you see missing persons reports and it says 1-year-old went missing off porch, well, for one, why is a 1-year-old on the porch by themselves anyways? But, well, no, because I'm thinking of something specific. And it was at like 1 a.m. And it's like, why would a 1-year-old be on the porch by themselves at 1 a.m.? But it's just a dad wanting to see their kids. Which goes back to something I used to talk about a lot on the evidence channels. A lot of missing persons reports are fundamentally very fake. Then you'll notice that 9 out of 10 they revolve around victim blaming the person who's missing. And now look, if you really can like tell or you really actually care and you're not just a person that just says kids need to be where they need to be at with parents and not being quote unquote grown, if you're not one of those people, you can probably tell when a situation is actually like something bad and when it's not. Like a lot of these people that call themselves true crime channels will even tell you that they don't care about people running away or getting kicked out because whenever a kid isn't at home, they're quote unquote missing and in danger. And that's bull crap. They're no different from the people that literally go to homeless youth resource centers and tell them, if you see this person, turn them into the police. That's literally what the resource centers are there for, to help the people that got kicked out or ran away. And there's already really none in the U.S. People have to go all the way to the West Coast to get to the few that do exist. So it's like, I mean, what in the world? But yeah, and I already have a video about how like the cops have been pretending that they're like finding missing kids, and people will be in the comments saying 100 missing kids found and no arrest. Well, you're watching them get arrested in some of the videos. Like literally in one video, they showed themselves handcuffing and arresting the kid and putting them in the back of the car. They didn't show their face, and people are just really annoying, to be honest. Like someone said in the comment section, actually. You guys can't read between the lines. What's happening is that they're finding runaways and kicked out kids and they're sending them home pretty much. Really, they're charging them and locking them up and then sending them home. Or they're sending them to like these different little institutions to be drugged and tortured till probably way past 18. But I'm actually planning on making another video about that. It's not going to be long, but like a short clip of Allie and Shelly Carter. And Shelly's saying, you're hearing all these stories about police finding hundreds of missing kids, but you never hear anybody coming and saying, thank you for finding my kid, or I'm so glad my kid is back home. But I mean, Another thing that Allie also mentions is aftercare and how nobody talks about aftercare. John McGee and his wonderful loving and caring advice. The ageism that makes you hold on for dear life till you're older, if you even make it to whatever age where you finally get out, if you ever do. And then actually start to have, well, a little bit of a childhood you have left by that point in time. And just like finally start living life and figuring, I don't know, whatever out. Some bull crap. After this, here's some audio that was supposed to be way back in the beginning, but like things got messed up. Then I forgot about it, and then like I kept recording things before it, and so now it's just really out of place. And it's like just due to like how there's really nowhere to go and no one to turn to, it's all bound to just end so badly. Like a lot of street kids, they don't even make it to 13. People are always saying hold on till you're 18, as if things really change when you turn 18 anyways. But people say that, but it's like the likelihood of even making it to 18, whether you're still living with your abusers or if you leave and you're like outside, is kind of like, it's up in the air. You really don't know. Chomos, and these are the same people that'll tell you, even when you're way younger than this, that you just need to grow up and be an adult.